All right, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, I was just reading, I was doing some meditation, and the Spirit hit me. I've been wanting to go into a few breakdowns, just through the Spirit lately, and the Spirit just gave me the opportunity today. So, Lord willing, I want to go through the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 9, because there's a lot of good information in here. Now, so I'm gonna just start at the top. It has about 47 verses in there. So, let's go through it, and Lord willing, we'll be able to get through the whole chapter. So this is 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, now, what Ezra, in the book of 2nd Esdras, right, the different chapters, pretty much is a conversation between Ezra and the angel Uriel, okay, which was sent to Ezra by the Lord. And if you haven't read 2nd Esdras, definitely go read it, because the conversation and the questions that Ezra asks and the answers that he receives, gives insight to a lot of different things, that we may question, or we may have, or we may feel, all right, concerning our salvation, concerning Adam, concerning all these different things. All right. So 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Now, usually when we go into 2nd Esdras 9, we hit a few verses and then that's it. But pretty much the angel is telling Ezra to measure the times diligently, which is what we're doing now, right? In essence, we're looking at the signs that were told us before, which are written in the scriptures. And as we see those signs taking place in the earth, we know that is the same time, meaning like in this time period, we know this is the very same time when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to bring this judgment upon here and send Yahweh Shai back. Why? Because we're seeing the signs. All right. So it says, verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
Yeah, man.
Hey, oh, got you. Brakathan Ba'ashem Yahushua. Salakia. Let me just back up a little bit. Yeah, Slacky, just give me 1 second while I move up a bit. We're seeing those signs, which were mentioned that we would see, and it would indicate to us that we are in the time when the Most High is going to bring the judgment, the visitation upon the earth. All right. So it says, it goes on, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. So these are a part of those signs, right? The earthquakes and the uproars of the people in the world. All right. So when when there shall be seen these things, then what? It says, oh, okay. It says, when there shall be seen uproars and earthquakes of the people, and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah, and that's prophecy, right? It was said before it happened. The Most High, through the mouth of his prophets, set it up. All right. The scriptures say that the Most High declares the end from the beginning. So when you start seeing the signs that he said would happen at the end, guess what? Now you understand that, okay, we are at the end. So it says, verse 5, and it says what? Then shalt thou well understand. because these signs are, as it says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, that it shall come and it shall not tarry, right? And it says it shall not lie, right? So that means that these prophecies are going to happen exactly according as they've been prophesied, as they've been said. And that's how we well understand that, yep, we're in the time of judgment. All right, because this is going on, you know, so on and so forth. All right. All right, so it says, Slakia, just pardon me while I just try to get situated here. Cool. Right, so it says here, verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, right? So you're born, that's your beginning. You die, that's your end. You know, you like everything has a start and a finish, a beginning and an end. Okay, and when you go into like the word world in the sense of a eon, right? When you're dealing with like a particular age, you have a beginning, right? Like they talk about the Bronze Age and the Stone Age, right? There's a beginning of that, and then there's an end of it. Because to everything, there's a time, a place, and a season for it. So it says, and the end is manifest. So the end of this world, the end of this age is now manifest. How do we know that? By the signs. Verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs, right? So we're able to tell that we are in the end of the world based on these effects and signs, as it says even in Luke, the 21st chapter. Men's hearts are going to fail them for fear, for basically witnessing the things that are coming upon the earth. And those are signs of what? The end. When you see in the famines and the pestilence and the chaos and the societal the societal collapse, you're seeing the love of many wax cold. You're seeing the demonic activity at an all-time high. You're seeing this flood behavior. These are all part of the signs that we are at the end. Verse 7, and every one that shall be saved, which are the elect, and because you're gonna have, you got to think about it, you're gonna have people on the earth that are going to be alive, but they're not going to be saved. What do I mean by that? When you're saved, that means that wherever you are or whatever condition you're in is something that requires you to be delivered from it. So you're going to have the elect that are going to be saved from the destruction that's coming, right? Because if we're not, Lord willing, we're of the elect, if we're not delivered out of here, we're not going to make it. So we're going to be saved from this destruction. But you're going to have other places of the world that are not going to face the same destruction. You're going to have other places of the world where you're going to have heathens that are surviving. No, you want it? Yeah, no problem. Salaki once again. But let me finish my thought. So you're going to have heathens, for example, right, that are going to be alive. You know, they're not going to get caught in the destruction. Now, you're going to have some, right, a good portion of people that are going to get caught in it, but not everybody on the planet Earth is going to die, right? Because we're going to need servants, right? So not everybody on the planet Earth is going to die. You're going to have heathens that are still going to be alive after the destruction. All right. And then you're gonna have also Israelites, you know, which are you know, gonna be alive after the destruction. So as it says, when it talks about those that are gonna be saved, that's really talking about the elect. Daniel, the 12th chapter in the 1st verse, right? What does it say? That those that are written, those that are gonna be found written in the book of life, those are the ones that are gonna be saved. Okay, because the destruction that's coming, they're gonna be saved from it. And it says here, verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape. What are they going to escape? They're going to escape the destruction. By his works and by faith. So works and faith, because as the scriptures say, faith without works is what? Is dead. Okay? So by his works and faith, because having faith is going to move you to do works. It says, whereby ye have believed. So because you believed and you had faith, you went and did the works to show that you have faith, to merit your faith, to quicken your faith. So those are the ones that are going to be saved. Verse 8, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. So those who are of the elect, they're the ones that are going to be preserved from the said perils, from the famines, from the pestilences, from the chaos, from the wild beasts, from the nuclear destruction. And they're going to see the salvation of the Lord. Why? Because it's going to come for them. It's going to come for the elect. Lord willing, it's going to come for us. Let me not speak exclusive. I want to be a part of that. But it says, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. And that's the elect. Those special spirits were sanctified. They were made holy and separate from the beginning. Verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. And this is going into the wicked, right? It says, let's keep reading. It says, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. So you have a lot of wicked Israelites. You have a lot of wicked Israelites who don't want to take heed to the message of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They abuse the ways of the Lord, right? They cast his ways despitefully behind them. Proverbs, the 1st chapter, the 20th verse on down. They're going to dwell in torments. Yeah, because the destruction and the hard times and the Jacob's trouble and all of that is going to come for them. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, because they were what? They were of the world. They chose to serve the world. They didn't want to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They didn't want to sacrifice. They didn't want to be transformed by the renewing of their mind. Instead, they wanted to be conformed to this world. It says here, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty. So this means what? This is referring to these wicked Israelites, because they're the ones, Israel are the only ones who have the liberty to to repent, you know, and to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. These other nations may go ahead and try it. It's like it. They may try it, but it's not gonna be of any real avail to them. Look, if a heathen says I ain't gonna take the MOTB, and they're here in the soils of America when the missiles hit, they're still not getting delivered. Okay? It says here, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. And that's when the Lord has us out here prophesying, warning you, giving you the hand, telling you, look, repent. Our people are not hearing that. The wicked of our people. Okay? So what's going to happen to them? The same must know it after death by pain. And that's what's going to happen. After they get destroyed and they go through all of that suffering, when they come back, they're going to understand it. They're going to know it. Okay? It says, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved. Why? Because you want to be a part of those that are saved. So that's where your focus should be. How are the righteous going to be saved? It says, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. Verse 14, then answered I and said, I have said before, and now do speak. So this is what was being told to Ezra. And now this is what he's responding. That's why he says, then answered I and said, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. It says, because you're going to have more people that are going to die than are going to be saved. That's why the elect are known as a remnant, a small number in comparison to the rest. It says, verse 16, like as a wave is greater than a drop. That's the comparison right there. And so in essence, when this destruction comes, you're going to have a lot more Israelites destroyed than delivered. All right. The same way a wave is greater in magnitude and force and in size than a drop is, that's the ratio, right? The ratio is a drop to a wave. This is just an example, of course, but a drop to a wave when you compare the elect to the rest of the nation that's going to be destroyed. Or when you compare those that are going to be saved to compared to those that are going to be destroyed. So it says, verse 17, and he answered me, saying, like as the field is, so is also the seed. As the flowers be. So if you go into a apple garden, what are you going to find there? Apple trees. If you go into I don't know, a watermelon, you know what I'm saying, or corn maze, right? What are you going to find there? So there's certain, like a rainforest has certain kinds of fruits and, you know, plants and trees that grow there specifically, right? You're not going to find you know, like a cactus in an area that it doesn't grow. Okay. It says, like as the field is, so is also the seed. And when you also take another example, there's certain fruits that you can only get in certain areas, in like tropical regions, right? Because they can't grow in other areas. So as the field is, so is the seed. It says, as the flowers be, so are the color. Take a sunflower, for example. You know, you expect a sunflower to look the way it looks, a lily, to have a certain a certain design and a certain color pattern, right? Certain trees, they're you know, they have different colors, right? They have different patterns, and you'll be able to tell what kind of tree it is based on its patterns, right? So if you see, okay, well, this is a chamomile flower, then you're gonna know that the color is supposed to look like that of a chamomile flower. So as as the flowers be, such are the colors, or such are the colors also. Such as the workman is, such also is the work. A carpenter is going to make things that carpenter makes, or carpenters make, right? A blacksmith is going to make things that a blacksmith makes. The things that are made are based on who's making them. Okay, you can't expect to get a sword, a well-wielded, made sword from a carpenter, right? So as the workman is, so also is the work. And as the husbandman is himself, so is his husbandry also. For it was the time of the world. And now when I prepared the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in it that now live. So when the Lord prepared the world that we were going to live in, no man spake against me. For then everyone obeyed, but now the manners of them which are created in this world, that is made, are corrupted by a perpetual seed. So in the beginning, everybody obeyed for the most part, right? The Lord. But now through the corruption, through the corruptible seed, now it's, as it says here, the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed. And that's why there's a constant level of wickedness throughout each generation. Okay, it says, and by a law which is unsearchable, rid themselves. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril, right, which is troubles and dangers, because of the devices which were come into it. So an example is the flood, right? The flood was a peril that the Lord brought because of the wickedness that was come into the world, you know, along with other forms of judgment and dangers. They have come into the world because of the wickedness. It says, and I saw, verse 21, and I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster and a plant of a great people. So the Lord did spare it greatly, because the Lord could have easily just said, I'm just going to completely destroy everything, and then that's it. Because of when you see the level of wickedness that is in the world today, the Lord has spared the world greatly. It says, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, which is the elect. Okay? And a plant of a great people. So of the whole, and the great people is Israel, and the plant is the elect, the remnant. And it's going to go on to tell you, verse 22, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept. So they keep the elect, right? Preserve them, but the rest let them perish. It says, and my plant, so the grape and the plant are synonymous. For with great labor have I made it perfect, which is who? The elect. Okay? Verse 23, nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 days more, so the angel is speaking to Ezra, telling him to cease for 7 days more, but thou shalt not fast in them. Because what Ezra was doing was he was fasting unto the Lord, and then the angel would come to him and then sup with him and talk to him. And then the angel told him, go another 7 days. So this time the angel told him, go another 7 days, but you don't got to fast these 7 days. It says here, verse 23, nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 days more, but thou shalt not fast in them, but go into a field of flowers where no house is builded, and eat only the flowers of the field, taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only. So basically, he did like what do they call that? Herb fast, right? Where all he did was eat herbs. It says, and pray unto the highest continually, then will I come and talk with thee. So when you fast and you pray to the Lord, guess what? You get the Lord, the Lord will open up your eyes to certain things. It says, verse 26, so I went my way into the field, which is called Ardath, like as he commanded me. And there I sat among the flowers and did eat of the herbs of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied me. After 7 days I sat upon the grass, and my heart was vexed within me, like as before. And I opened my mouth and began to talk before the Most High, and said, O Lord, thou that shewest thyself unto us, thou wast shewed unto our fathers in the wilderness, in a place where no man treadeth, in a barren place when they came out of Egypt. And thou spakest, saying, hear me, O Israel, and mark my words, thou seed of Jacob. For behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, and ye shall be honored in it forever. Now, when you sow like something, you sow seeds into the earth, it brings forth fruit based on whatever seed you put into the earth. So when the Lord sowed his seed, or he sowed the law into us by giving us the law and us making the covenant with him, it was sown into us, and the fruit of it, where we at? Verse 31, for behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, which is, when you read Deuteronomy 28th chapter, it goes into that. It goes into what the fruit of keeping the laws of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai would be. And in essence, it would bring forth righteousness and blessings instead of curses. It says here, and ye shall be honored in it forever. But our fathers, which received the law, kept it not, and observed not thy ordinances. And though the fruit of thy law did not perish, neither could it, for it was thine. Yeah, because the scriptures say, though heaven and earth pass, not one jot or one tittle shall pass from the word of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Okay, and the law is a part of his word, along with his fruit. So it says, verse 33, yet they that received it, right, which is us, Israel, we received what? We received the law. So yet they that received it perished, because they kept not the thing that was sown in them. So because we didn't keep the laws that were given us, we perished. Because what is the transgression of the law? Sin. Verse 34, and lo, it is a custom. So now Ezra's basically making a point. He's saying here that, yeah, we he's saying, yeah, our forefathers were given the law, statutes, and commandments, but because they couldn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, they perished. But the law, statutes, and commandments didn't perish. So it says here, verse 34, and lo, it is a custom, when the ground hath received seed, or the ship a sea, or any vessel meat or drink, that being perished wherein it was sown or cast into, that the thing also which was sown or cast therein, or received, doth perish, and remaineth not with us, but with us it hath not happened so. So what does this mean? It may sound a little confusing, but what Ezra is saying is that there's a custom, which is when you, it says, when the ground hath received seed, right? If you were to take a seed and plant it into the earth, or to see a ship, right? Or you were to, sail a ship on the ocean, or any vessel, meat or drink, or if you were to put food in a bowl or a vessel, or you were to put drink in the bowl or the vessel, the custom is, right? It is a custom that being perished, that being perished is saying that the thing that you put, whatever you put into, if that thing gets destroyed. So based on the examples he gave, if the ground was destroyed, or if the sea was destroyed, or if the vessel where you put the meat or the drink in was destroyed, right? It says that being perished wherein it was sown or cast into. So the custom is that if you put something into another thing, the container, if the container gets destroyed, right? Verse 35, that thing also which was sown or cast therein or received doth perish, right? So the custom is, if you put something into a container, right, and the container gets destroyed, then whatever you put in there will also get destroyed. That's the custom. So if you plant a seed into the earth and then the earth gets destroyed, guess what? The seed also gets destroyed because it's in the earth. If you sail a ship on the ocean and something happens to the ocean, let's say the ocean gets destroyed, right? The ship will also get destroyed. If you put food in a vessel or water in a vessel and the vessel gets destroyed, guess what? The food also goes bad. It gets destroyed. So what he is saying here is that that's what happens, right? Shalakia. That's what happens, right? It doth perish and remaineth not with us. But with us it hath not happened so. So when the law, statutes, and commandments were sown into us, according to the custom, when we perished, the laws that were sown into us should have also perished. But that's not what happened, is what Ezra is saying. Ezra is saying we perished, but the law didn't. So it says here, but with us it hath not happened so. It didn't happen according to the custom. For we that have received the law perish by sin, and our heart also which received it, right? Notwithstanding, the law perisheth not, but remaineth in his force. So it says here, and when I spake these things in my heart, I looked back with mine eyes, and I hope that was making sense. It was a lot of words, but in essence, all he is saying is, the custom is that typically when you put one thing into another thing, if the container that you put this thing into gets destroyed, then whatever is inside the container gets destroyed as well, right? If I'm in the car driving the car, nope. If somebody is in a car and they're driving the car and the car gets destroyed, it gets blown up and just gets eviscerated, what's going to happen to the person in the car? They're going to be destroyed with it. But Ezra is saying that when it came to the laws and us, it didn't happen that way. The laws were sown into us, but when we got destroyed, the laws didn't. The laws remained. So it says here, verse 38, and when I spake these things in my heart, I looked back with mine eyes, and upon the right side I saw a woman, and behold, she mourned and wept with a loud voice, and was much grieved in heart. and her clothes were rent, and she had ashes upon her head. Then I let my thoughts go that I was in, and turned me on to her. So as he was meditating on these things, he saw the woman, and so he basically put his thoughts aside and turned to her to go attend and see what's her issue. So it says here, verse 40, and said unto her, wherefore weepest thou? Why art thou so grieved in thy mind? And she said unto me, Sir, let me alone, that I may bewail myself, and add unto my sorrow. For I am sore vexed in my mind, and brought very low. He said, no, leave me alone. Let me grieve. Verse 42, and I said unto her, what aileth thee? Tell me, what's the problem? And she said unto me, I thy servant have been barren, and had no children, though I had an husband 30 years. And those 30 years I did nothing else day and night, and every hour but make my prayer to the highest. And after 30 years, yeah, okay, so that's what we're doing now. All right. Salakia, in 1 second, let me make sure that I'm not missing out on this right here. That's not what's going on here. All right, cool. We're all gonna take some of these spots. So the woman is, and now in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, it basically it starts off telling you about the woman, but you got to go into the 10th chapter to hear the full story of that, to hear what happened and what's the breakdown to it. So Lord willing, if the Spirit permits, when I finish this chapter, if the Spirit permits, next time I might go into 2nd Esdras, the 10th chapter, and cover that part there. But anyway, let's keep on reading. So it says here, so Ezra's asking this woman that he's seeing, what's the problem? What's going on? Why are you bewailing? What's going on? It says here, right. So she says she's been praying to the Most High, for 30 years. For verse 45, and after 30 years, the power heard me, thine handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son. And I was very glad of him. So was my husband also, and all my neighbors. And we have great honor unto the Almighty. And I nourished him with great travail. So when he grew up and came to the time that he should have a wife, I made a feast. And like I said, it's going to continue going on into the 10th chapter, and it's going to go into, more of it. But this is the breakdown for 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. So I'm going to just keep it at 2nd Esdras chapter 9. And Lord willing, if the Spirit permits, we may be able to go into the 10th chapter at another time. All right. But, that's pretty much it for 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. Like I said, if you haven't read it, even if you have read it, it's always good to reread and get that refresher. You might see something that you didn't see before when you read it. So 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter is definitely the whole book of 2nd Esdras really is definitely great information in there. So Lord willing, that was clear and able to be understood and edifying to the elect. And in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.